Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we will learn how to perform a chi-square test of independent sample using R. This non-parametric test determines if there is a significant association between the two categorical variables. To perform this test, we have some hypothesis. Null hypothesis is there is no difference between group or groups are independent. And alternative hypothesis, there is a difference between groups and groups are dependent and alpha value is equals to 0.05. So first we load some libraries here like a library tidyverse and we run the library, and now we generate some data by using the set sheet. To generate a data, we use here data.frame, and in this we give her here our category, what we want, category that is equals to, we says samples. And what are our samples? Samples we like to have, for example, like there are three samples like A in a double quotes, B in a double quotes, C. These are our samples, and what we want with these samples, we want the repetition of these samples. Like we need 100 samples, we give 100, like 100 rows, and what we want that these samples must repeat. So here we write replace equals to true, and the rest this code we are removing completely. So this is our code for samples like ABC. And for the samples, what are the outcome of the samples? Here we just write comma and give outcome equals what we want from this data. That is like a samples C for either yes or a no, yes or no, and how many times it will also repeat, like the same as our rows. So we write here again comma 100, and it must also repeat. So replace equals to true. This is our, we make it like a virtual data frame, and this data frame we save in a vector called data, and we just run this here. So we can see we got some error. So there was an error. We just remove the S from the samples. So I make it a sample here, and this is our data. So we can check our data by giving a command data here, and it makes us two categories. One is a category which have a sample, and other is outcome as a yes and no. So we comes down here and make our contingency table to check our data. So what we do here, I will write here first, insert a markdown contingency table, and we just write here. So now we have a here contingency table, and how we gonna to prepare the contingency table? We just give the command table, and in this we write here data $, category, comma, data $, outcome, and we'd like to save this contingency table in another vector. So we write here contingency underscore table and just give the equal sign, and we run. So without error we have it here, and we can print this contingency table by giving command contingency underscore table, and when we run here we got some contingency table here. As you can see, samples are ABC, and how many times there is a repetition of yes and no for each sample. Now we comes here and we put in a code here, and very simple in the R we just write chi-sq.test. It automatically give you a prompt here. We just select the prompt bracket, and we just write here contingency underscore table, and we run this code of chunk, just clicking here, and we can see the code is run very nicely, and we receive the outcome as a Pearson chi-square test, which we have output of the chi-square test, and it includes the test statistics, degree of freedom, and p-value. So test statistics here, like x squared value, indicate the strength of association between the variables. Higher the value suggests stronger association. Degree of freedom, because we have 3 samples -1, so degree of freedom is 2, and p-value for this sample is 0.87, which is higher than the value of alpha 0.05. This indicates the probability of observing the data if the null hypothesis is true. No association between the variables. Means when the p-value is higher, there is no association between the variables, and so we reject the alternative hypothesis and we accept the null hypothesis. So that was our video on chi-square test. I hope you found this video useful in understanding how to conduct the chi-square test in R. Stay tuned for more insightful tutorials on statistical analysis and data visualization. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more contents on data analysis, visualization and programming tutorials. Thank you for your attention.